On a calm evening, at 35,000 feet, imagine two very different journeys unfolding inside the same corporate empire. In one cabin, a passenger reclines into a spacious suite, sipping champagne from a crystal flute while a flight attendant addresses them by name and serves a course meal on white linen. The ticket costing more than many people earn in a month and delivering an experience built around elegance, privacy, and ritualized hospitality. In another cabin, on another aircraft wearing different colors but owned by the same parent company, travelers squeeze into slim blue seats with yellow accents, legs tucked tight, snacks pulled from backpacks because nothing is complimentary, and the fare was so cheap, it felt almost accidental. Yet both experiences exist deliberately as two halves of a calculated strategy rather than a contradiction, because the prestigious Singapore-based airline group built its reputation on luxury while simultaneously launching a playful low-cost subsidiary to fight a historic market disruption that swept across Asia in the early 2000s when budget carriers exploded onto the scene, promising ordinary families their first chance to fly internationally, slashing prices by removing extras and rapidly capturing travelers who cared more about reaching a destination than about prestige. Turning southeast, Asia into the world's most competitive battleground for airfare pricing as new airlines connected secondary cities, beach resorts, and student routes at prices often 70 to 80% lower than traditional carriers, forcing established premium airlines into a dilemma where matching those fares meant financial losses, but ignoring them meant empty seats and shrinking networks, a particularly dangerous threat for a carrier based in the small cities without domestic routes to rely on. Because every flight required international passengers and many of those passengers were defecting to cheaper alternatives. So executives realized the threat was not temporary but structural, and that the future market would be segmented into travelers seeking comfort and those seeking price above all else, prompting an early experiment with a budget brand partnership that struggled to build a coherent identity and ultimately demonstrated that a half-hearted approach could damage reputation without truly capturing the market. While competitors abroad were already succeeding with dual-brand strategies where a premium airline protected its high-end image and a separate low-cost arm aggressively chased leisure demand, leading leadership to conclude the only sustainable solution was to create a fully independent budget carrier with its own culture, employees, contracts, marketing voice, and even attitude, a decision controversial inside a company famous for meticulous service standards because many feared a cheap brand would dilute decades of prestige. Yet the alternative was watching a quarter of regional capacity shift permanently to rivals. So the group invested hundreds of millions of dollars into a new airline intentionally designed as the opposite of its parent, from a playful name chosen informally to bright colors and humorous announcements. A workplace culture encouraging informality and efficiency rather than hierarchy, and a cost structure built around high-density seating, simplified catering, and lean staffing, all meant to achieve dramatically lower cost per passenger while still maintaining reliability and safety inherited from the parent's operational expertise, with early flights using older wide-body aircraft before transitioning to modern fuel-efficient planes, configured to maximize seats and introduce a modest premium section for travelers willing to pay slightly more. Comfort without entering full-service pricing territory, gradually attracting students, young tourists, and families who valued affordability and personality over ceremony. While the premium airline continued refining its luxury product, allowing the two brands to operate like complementary chess pieces rather than rivals, scheduling flights at different times to target different travelers and feeding passengers into each other's networks. Through shared bookings and loyalty benefits, so a budget flyer could connect onto a long-haul premium flight without friction, and a premium traveler could occasionally take a short low-cost segment without feeling betrayed by the brand, turning what once seemed heretical into a practical ecosystem that expanded the hub's reach into dozens of smaller cities that premium airline alone could never serve profitably, eventually absorbing the earlier struggling budget venture to unify operations and scale the low-cost network across short and long routes, strengthening bargaining power against airports and suppliers, while creating a two-pronged market presence that squeezed competitors from both ends since a rival charging high fares faced luxury competition and a rival charging low fares faced a trusted brand offering similar prices with better reliability. A strategy especially visible on leisure. Heavy routes such as holiday destinations where travelers could choose either comfort or savings, yet still pay the same corporate group, allowing management to shift routes dynamically, depending on demand by moving marginal premium routes to the budget, arm, or upgrading successful budget routes to full service, effectively treating aircraft deployment as a flexible toolkit rather than a fixed identity. And when the global pandemic halted travel entirely, this dual structure proved unexpectedly resilient because the group could scale operations back to minimal service and then rapidly rebuild using the budget airline when leisure travel returned faster than business travel, filling planes quickly with price-sensitive passengers while premium demand recovered gradually, producing record load factors and profits during the rebound period as travelers eager to visit friends and vacation again found both affordable and luxury options available within one integrated network, reinforcing the strategic thesis that segmentation protects against volatility by capturing every layer of demand. Though challenges remain since rising fuel and labor costs pressure low fares and economic uncertainty threatens premium spending, meaning the group must continuously balance differentiation so customers perceive clear value differences rather than confusion. Experimenting with smaller aircraft to open thinner routes and constantly adjusting schedules. Yet overall, the model demonstrates that an airline can defend a luxury reputation while embracing mass affordability by separating identity but unifying strategy, ensuring that whether a traveler is sipping champagne in a private suite or eating snacks from a backpack in a tight seat, the company still wins the sale, transforming what appears to be a contradiction into a carefully engineered market dominance system where two brands operate not as competitors, but as coordinated halves of a single competitive machine capable of responding to almost any pricing move from rivals.